And he wants to know specifically about Thrive themes. Is it good, or do I suggest something else? If you're a mid/novice with WordPress but need some small tweaks on the CSS, where would you go? Is there a good plugin to speed up your page, or does that have to do with the server? Is it better to have a one-page website landing page or a full website, home, about us, products? All right, I want to talk about a couple questions that we've been asked by our audience. Jeffrey Redondo asked me this question a couple weeks ago about choosing a WordPress theme, and he wants to know specifically about Thrive themes. Is it good, or do I suggest something else? That's a great question, Jeffrey. What I'm going to do here is pull up the website. So here we are over at thrivethemes.com. Jeffrey, is this what you were talking about? This particular website, these particular set of tools? Thrive Themes. There's a bunch of themes out there, and of course I don't know about them all. But I did want to share with you just a couple some general ideas of what you're gonna include. There's a couple pieces to this puzzle, okay? So you've got so let me just outline a couple ideas, and I don't have this up on my slides for you to follow along with, so I'll just do my best. So WordPress is the base software. That's the software, that's the content management system that is running the website. You grab that WordPress software free from WordPress.org, and you can build a WordPress website. Out of the box, it's got a couple built-in themes, somewhat kind of basic, really great if you want to start a blog website and get it going immediately. Out of the box, you can do that and be off and go. And you've got it. And a lot of these tools, a lot of these hosting companies even have a one-click install to get you started with your website hosting and your website. So, for example, if that's something that you want to do and you want to just go for it, you can use the company that I use, and you can use my link to get there, dreamhost.gilbertstudios.com. Dreamhost.gilbertstudios.com. Use my link, go open up a new hosting account, and you can use their one-click install to get a WordPress site up and running. But you may want to enhance it. So right out of the box, it's got a lot of great functionality, and it's a fully functional website. However, if you want to make it fancier, prettier, etc., then you're going to want to add another theme to it. And themes usually are thought of as the prettification, the prettying up of the website. It adds a little more graphics. It makes it look a little better. It provides a different kind of layout. There might be some pre-built layouts you can use to create your home page and your about page. So it gives you kind of a graphic head start, if you will. Usually these templates, these themes have some stuff right out of the box. You can just swap in your stuff, and that might work for you as well. So the base software is WordPress. Then on top of that, we add the theme. The theme usually refers to the general layout of the graphic interface, how it looks. Then if you want more functionality, so that's mainly about how it looks. Now, if you want to change the function or enhance the function of the website, then you're going to be installing plugins. Plugins are extra pieces of software that you install into the WordPress site to make it do more stuff. Now, sometimes you'll get a theme and it will come with plugins, or you install the theme and it prompts you also install these plugins to make our theme work. So this is where it starts to get a little bit out of control or a little more difficult to talk about, because different themes could come with different plugins or recommend certain plugins. I also want to bring up some themes provide just kind of the graphic overview, and you only have a couple places to put stuff. Or you might get a theme that's actually like a website builder, and it has built-in tools to move the things around the page. So to get back to Jeffrey's question specifically, it looks to me like these Thrive themes, if this in fact is what you're talking about, these Thrive themes do include some of the plugins that they recommend. And it's calling itself an all-in-one toolbox. And here's the editor, the drag and drop editor that they use. They call it Thrive Architect. Okay, so that's the specific plugin that they use as their builder as part of their theme. So see how all these things kind of go together? It's a little hard to talk about, isn't it? But this is the builder that you can use to build the pages inside their theme. And I don't know this company specifically or have used a lot of their things, so I'm just going to mention that. Then they talk about Thrive Leads, so that's probably another plugin that they provide to help you build your mailing list. I might recommend something differently. You know, we'll see. I've talked about that previously. Here's a quiz builder, Thrive Quiz Builder, and Thrive Theme Builder to customize your WordPress website. So there's a lot of pieces in here. Again, there's the website software, the core software, that's WordPress in this case. Then there's the theme that goes on top of it. That's how it looks, and the colors, and sometimes the layout, how things appear on the page, and sometimes there's some pre-built ones you can use. And then you've got the plugins that add extra software, extra functionality, do more stuff, basically. So you can think of the theme as how it looks and the plugins as what it does, or having it do more for you. So if you have any more specific questions than that, if you've installed a plugin or you've installed a theme and you want us to look at the back end and answer a couple questions, we would love to do that on a future show. Jeffrey, let me know what you think about that. Okay, so I don't have a whole lot of answers for you specifically on this, except I wanted to at least give you some of that overview information. The core software, theme, plugins, builders are sometimes part of the theme, but sometimes they're a plugin, or sometimes they're kind of both together. Let me know specific questions if you can. If we can log into a website and look at it, we certainly will do that. Thank you so much for your question. He's got a few more questions. Let's see what else he asks. If you're a mid/novice with WordPress but need some small tweaks on the CSS, where would you go? Garrison says, you should hire CJ for an hour of training. Great question, Garrison, or great answer, Garrison. Yes, you can absolutely hire me for an hour of training. We'll dive into your website together and figure out specifically what you need. Because the answer to this question is also going to be, it depends. Because in general, there is a place in the back end of the WordPress site for you to go into what they call the editor, and you can add some CSS commands directly into the editor. But before you do that, there might be a place as part of your theme, inside the theme options, there may be another place in there for you to add a little bit of CSS code if you want to make some tweaks. And in addition to that, so we talked about the editor, we talked about the theme may have some options, and then there's another place called the customizer, and it also has a place for you to put in some CSS commands. And a fourth answer, depending on the kind of theme and or builder that you're using in your site, there may be some additional CSS tweaks you can make right in the very page you're editing. So there's actually 4 answers to your question, Jeffrey. It could be the very page you're editing, depending on your theme and or builder. It could be what they call the customizer, which is what you click when you click customize on the theme. Your theme might have its own kind of dashboard built into the site, and there may be a place to add CSS code as part of that. And then the 4th place is the actual WordPress editor, which edits the raw files of your theme. That's like a last case scenario. I wouldn't advise you to do that unless you know what you're doing. So it's easier / better to use one of those previous places to stick that CSS code in. Does that answer your question, Jeffrey? Small tweaks on the CSS. So that's only if you know what tweaks you want to make. And if you don't, come back here and ask me more follow-up questions. And of course, Garrison's right. I am available for an hour of coaching just to specifically address your exact site and your exact needs. Jeffrey's also asking, is there a good plugin to speed up your page, or does that have to do with the server? Yes and yes. So it does have to do with the server. If you open up your own website hosting account, you may be getting the bottom level website hosting. There's a great big website hosting company that starts with a G. It's not Gilbert Studios. It's another one that spends a lot of money on Super Bowl ads. And their website hosting is very basic and very limited. And I often have trouble with WordPress websites running well right out of the box built on that hosting environment, because it requires additional tweaks. You've got to get into the extra special places and raise the memory limits and that kind of a thing. Like extra on those kind of a platforms. Now, the hosting that I provide to my clients who are coming directly to me for hosting is a higher level of website hosting. I use what they call a virtual private server, which is a better level than just the shared hosting plan that you usually get at the lowest level. So I have the next level up, a virtual private server, which allows me to allocate dedicated resources to each client as they need it. So it provides a higher level of functionality. And that's what I'd set you up with if you came to me for your website hosting. And then, so that's all based on your server, your hosting, and the settings of your server. Your mileage may vary. And in addition, yes, it also has to do with the plugins that you've got. Remember how a few minutes ago when I was talking about the themes versus the plugins versus the builder, some of that software becomes very cumbersome, requires a lot of resources to run. It's very intensive on the server. So it's some of those plugins and stuff right out of the box might be a heavy load. Or you might install a theme and you might install all the plugins it recommends for you to install, and all of a sudden you find that your website's running very slowly. It's because each one of those plugins adds a little bit of strain onto your website. So I would caution you as to how many plugins you're installing into your site and what's active and what's running. The more that's running, the bigger the machine, the more complicated, the more could go wrong. It could slow down, or some of those plugins could fight with each other and have issues between a plugin and a theme, or a couple plugins with each other. So it starts to get a little a little crazy as you add more and more software. There could be conflicts. And the final answer to your question is, depending on your server, depending on your theme, depending on what's available to you, you may be able to take advantage of some kind of caching software, that's spelled CACHING. And it refers to a website remembering certain information. That is to say, when someone comes to your website, they're served a fresh copy of the website over and over and over again 1,000 times a day. But if you're not making a lot of changes to your site, you can take advantage of something called caching, where it basically takes a copy of your website and it makes it, and then as more people come to your website, it just gives them that same copy. It's not like it's not rebuilding it every single time for every client. It builds it and then it hands it out to each person, the cached copy. That speeds up your website a little bit more. So again, I can't talk about a specific plugin because I don't know what might be available to you in your system, but it's called a cache, CACHE, cache or caching software. That would be the thing that you want to look for. See if it's already built into something that you're using. There might be a plugin, there might be a tool, there might be a setting in your theme that talks about caching. Just for example, when I'm building a website from scratch, we don't use any caching while we're building it. Once we've got the site up and it's stable, then we add the caching after that to speed it up just a little bit. So that's not a specific plugin I can recommend. See, ironically, he's asking, is there a good plugin to speed up your page? The thing I'm going to recommend to speed up your page is take out as many plugins as possible, not add another plugin. And that goes back to what I was saying before. So I hope that answers your question just a little bit. Let me know what future more questions you have about that. Okay? And finally, he asks, is it better to have a one-page website landing page or a full website, home, about us, products? That's a really great question. I'm going to refer you back to 2 episodes where we talked about this a little more in depth. In episode 2, one of our first episodes, we talked about the concept of a website versus a funnel or a sales funnel. So jump to episode 2 And I'll provide the link in the show notes here to jump to that. Episode 2, I talk more about a website versus a funnel. And then in episode 3, I answer this exact same question, Jeffrey, a website versus a landing page, or one website versus multiple landing pages. And I kind of tie those two pieces together because they kind of all go together. A website versus a funnel versus landing pages. And my answer is it's kind of a blend of all of the above. And it really has to do with what you need it to do for you. So I'm going to refer you back, check out episode 2 and really episode 3 for the answer to this question. Websites versus landing pages. And I don't want to go over it again because we already did in episode 3. So please go there to check that out. What other questions do you have? What else do you want to ask a web geek? I'm here to answer any of your questions. And if I don't know the answer, we'll ask our community and someone will know the answer. That's the beauty of the community that we've built. So please ask us any questions you want. Come to our Facebook group, Ask A Web Geek. Find me on Twitter at Ask A Web Geek and ask me any questions you have about websites, marketing, online tools, email campaigns, and more. I'm here to serve you. My business is here to serve your business. So let me know how I can help make your business better. Well, thank you so much for your time and attention here this morning. This is CJ Gilbert in the Web Cave, reminding you to join up with a tribe of people. You know, we understand that the internet is a jungle. It's too easy to get lost and go down the wrong path and find yourself stuck in a quicksand or at a dead end or in a trap you didn't even see coming. If you're wise, you'll join up with a tribe of people and you'll hire a well-trained guide to lead you through and get you where you want to go. I'll be happy to help you with any questions that you've got over this next week. I want to wish you the very best week. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful Website Wednesday. And we'll see you next week in the Web Jungle. God bless.